Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. शिवो जयो जय गौरा चंदेर आरतिक शोभा शिवो जयो जय गौरा चंदेर आरतिक शोभा जानवी तटवने जग मन लोभा जानवी तटवने जग मन लोभा गौरांगे आरतिक शोभा जग जन मन लोभा जग गौरांगे आरतिक शोभा जग जन मन लोभा गौरांगे आरतिक शोभा जग जन मन लोभा गौरांगे आरतिक शोभा जग जन मन लोभा जग जन मन लोभा जग जन मन लोभा निताई गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल शिवो दखीन निताय चान वमे गदधरा निकटे अद्वैत श्रेणी वास छत्रधारा कि बोसी यचे गौरा चान रत्ना सिंहासने आरती कोरे ना ब्रह्मा आदि देवगाने कि वो नर हरियादि कोरी चमर ढुलाया संजया मुकुंद वासु घोष अधिगाया कि वो शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला मधुर मृदंग बाजे परम रसाला। शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे। 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 मधुर 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 बाजे। मधुर 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 बाजे। मधुर 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 बाजे। निताई गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताई गौरा हरि बोल। नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। नित्य गौरा हरि बोल। शिव बहु कोटि चंद्राजीने वदन उज्ज्वला। गल देशे वनमाला कोरे झलमाला। शिव शिव सुख नारद प्रेमे गद गदा। भक्ति विनोद देखे गौर संपादा। शिव जयो जयो गौरा चंदे आरतिक शोभा। गानवित कवने जग मन लोभा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari. पतित पावन गौर हरि, जय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि, जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी भाव तुम्हें, जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी भाव तुम्हें। हरि हराय नमः, कृष्ण यादवाय नमः, हरि हराय कृष्ण यादवाय नमः, यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः, यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः। गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री रघुनंदन, गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन, गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन, गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर, राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय, बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय। जय पंच तत्व जय पंच तत्व जय पंच तत्व जय पंच तत्व। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। निताई गोपमनंदी।
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikacharya Asatar Satashishmad. The Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikacharya Asatar Shishmad. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamkun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki. Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vindi Ki. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vindi Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Vrindavan Dhami Ki. Mayapur Dhami Ki. Jagannath Puri Ki. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki. Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Prabhuji, you want to sing?
Kartal.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladaladaine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shrilatankanakalaye. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha. Yato yato yami tato Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha. बहिर् नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव कर कमलवरे अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमल अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नर हरि जय नर हरि जय नर हरि जय नर हरि जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय श्री भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह भगवान की भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna. So I have my friends with the mridanga. So we'll start with Jai Radha Madhava. I have the lyrics on the slides. If you can put them up, it's on the second slide. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadhari Giri Varadhari Giri Varadhari Jaya Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Bol. So before I start, I'd like to, and I introduce myself, I'd like to start with some prayers to the acharyas who've come before us. It is a little hard to see, but I think it is even more powerful just to hear them. So we'll start. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And because Narasimha Chaturdasi is coming, let's do one of the mantras for Narasimha Dev. Ugram Viram Mahavishnu Jwalantam Sarvatomukham Narsingham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityor Namamyaham. Narsimha Bhagavan ki jai. So Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you all for joining. I hope you all are well. First of all, I want to thank all of you with a loud round of applause for coming today. It was raining like cats and dogs outside, and still you showed up for Krishna and for Narasimhadev, and I think that is so commendable. My mom was telling me on the car that in the descriptions of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's kind of like the atmosphere when Hiranyakashipu or Hiranyaksha were born. It was this kind of crazy atmosphere. So you've come in such conditions. It's like flooding outside, and you've come, and I think that really is commendable. So thank you all for coming and allowing us to do some nice satsang, some good association together. I would also like to thank the people who've given me the opportunity to speak today. I'd like to thank my teacher, Devkinandan Prabhu. I think the kids have decided to come and listen to my talk. So I'm grateful to Devkinandan Prabhu for for coming and for the wonderful kids who are here to join us. He gave me, we're right now in Sunday school, we're talking a lot about phone addiction and how we can overcome it. We're talking about practical things we can do about it. And so my class today is going to be a little bit about the phones and how we can overcome this addiction and what we can learn, given that Narasimha Chaturdasi is coming, what we can learn from Prahlad Maharaj from that. So I'd like to thank Devkinandan Prabhu. I'd like to thank the kids for coming. I'd also like to thank Madhupati Prabhu. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I am very humbled by this, by what this seat means. It's the Vyasasana, and it is not lost on me how much of a high seat this is. This is the seat where Vyasadeva and all his spiritual descendants sat on this seat to speak Krishna Katha. And neither am I physically, spiritually, mentally capable of that kind of status, but still I've been given an opportunity and I'm humbled by it. And I hope that humility can take me through this class and I can share some value through it. So last person I would like to thank is, second to last person I would like to thank is Vraja Bihari Prabhu. A lot of what I'll be speaking today is based on his book, Mind Your Mind. And I would like to thank Prahlad Maharaj, because without him, none of this class would be possible. So a little bit of a self-introduction. Hare Krishna. My name is Surabhi. If you don't know me already, I help out with the Sunday school. I help Devkinandan Prabhuji with the high schoolers and the 8th graders. And we talk a lot about spiritual life in the 21st century and how we can use the things we learn in spiritual life as a way through the material world. Even if you do know me a lot, I think you may not know that I use my phone quite a lot. Over there, if you see on the screen, is a picture of my screen time. You can see last week, I used my phone for around 5 hours each day. I know, that's crazy. And I use it a lot, and I use it on Instagram. I use it on trying to find new information. I use it to text my friends and my parents. So I feel a little capable, and I've seen the effects of that social media usage on my life and that phone usage on my life. So I feel a little capable to speak a little bit about the negative effects of it. But the thing is, I think all of you, or at least most of you, also use your phones a lot. So I have a question for you. I think it's very important before anything we do, thing we do, is if we have some self-awareness about what the problem is. So I see Akhilesh Krishna Prabhuji already knows the assignment. I'm going to ask you guys, and this is your only chance, okay, guys? Only chance to take to take out your phone and check. Go to the settings on your iPhone and go to general and check your screen time. I'll give you guys a second to do that. But this is your only chance, okay? And then you must surrender the phones. Okay. General, and then you should scroll and it should show screen time. Okay, on the settings. If you go to settings, I think Madhav says it's right at the bottom. It should say screen time. If you have an Android or any other phone, you could also search up screen time at the top, and it should give you your screen time. I wonder. 1 hour 45 minutes from Madhav. That's very nice. That's not bad at all. Hour and 20. I'll just say I had exams the previous week, so I went a little crazy the week after. I'll just say that. Okay, so it seems like everyone's doing pretty well. Anyone want to share what their screen time usage was last week? 5.5. Nice. Same way. What about Madana Mohini Mataji? 4 hour 35 minutes. High five. Anyone else want to share their screen time? 2 hours 36. That's really good. That's really good. I'm curious about Madhupati Prabhu's. And also Krishna Ramananda Prabhu's. Your WhatsApp time usage. That's actually one of the things I was thinking about when I was preparing this class, is that a lot of devotees use our phones for Krishna conscious purposes, to give devotees the chance. Oh, can you do Srimad Bhagavatam class tomorrow? Can you do this? Can you do this service? So a lot of devotees use it for Krishna conscious services. So we need to take a holistic view of what our screen time is like. And a lot of mothers use it to text their kids, and a lot of kids use it to text their parents, hopefully. So we need to take a holistic view of it. But from what we've seen, and also from what I've seen in my life, getting sucked into a digital world is so immersive, and we can lose out a lot in reality. So this is the title for my talk: Prahlad Maharaj versus Phone Maharaj. That was my desired effect. I'm not saying that the phone is a Maharaj or anything that deserves our utmost respect, but it's because we give so much importance to our phones. I read a statistic recently in Mind Your Mind that 45% of smartphone users, and there's 2.6 billion people in the world who have smartphones, 45% of them have nomophobia or no mobile phobia. They're afraid to be detached from their phones, and that's a really big number considering how many people have smartphones, right? So I would like to center this talk because Narasimha Chaturdasi is coming, and also because Prahlad Maharaj is such an amazing person. And we can learn a lot from the greats. Yad yad acharati shreshtas. What we learn from the greats, we can apply in our own lives. So what can we learn from Prahlad Maharaj to help us curb our phone addiction? So let's start with, I just have a question. What is wrong with using our smartphones? What's wrong with it? Is there anything wrong with it? I want to hear from all of you. What's wrong with it? Is there anything? Akhilesh Krishna Prabhu? It's addictive. And any form of addiction is wrong. That's a really beautiful point. It takes away time from our lives. Yes, Prabhu? WMD? What is WMD, Prabhu? Weapon distraction. So This is because he's a Radhanath Swami Maharaj disciple. Of course, he knows this. Radhanath Swami Maharaj often lovingly calls the weapons of mass destruction that we have now, the weapons of mass destruction. That we have our phones, we immediately go to it, and it takes away from our inner battles, our inner work that we need to do in our life. Yes, Prabhuji. It disturbs sleep. That's a really good one. Yeah. Sometimes you get that WhatsApp message at 12 a.m. You're like, what is this group? Why am I in it? You have to put it away. That's a very good one. Any Matajis? Yes, Mataji? That's so beautiful. Yeah. Or where are we deriving our sense of security? From our phones or from Krishna? It's a distraction from that inner loneliness we feel. Yes, Satyamama. Yes, health. Just like Prabhuji said, like sleep, blue light. You can see I have glasses, not just the glasses. There's many other things. And blue light radiation, so many things. I've come up with a few reasons from my end. Most of you mentioned. I say you guys said everything I said. So I guess we're done. No, we're not. So we have what's wrong with having our phone? We have loneliness. There are so many tough emotions we feel, but anytime you feel a tough emotion, you check your phone, right? For example, if I get into a small fight with my parents, I'll immediately check my phone, or I'll go on social media. Like, how can I get away from this issue? How can I remove myself from this issue? But that doesn't solve any problem. That goes on with the second point. It cannot solve life's complex issues. It is efficient, but it is not effective. If you need a piece of information, you can easily get it, right? If you want to know what is the capital of Albania, you can figure it out right now, and I'm sure someone can figure it out. But it's about doing the right things, not doing things right. Right? If we have to be effective in solving the issues that we have in life right now, rather than just being efficient, rather than just doing things quickly. The third thing I have here is it's not free. We pay with our time. So here I want to share a story from Mind Your Mind that we're reading. So there's this elderly gentleman. His name is Popatlal, because every funny story has to have a funny character name, right? So his name is Popatlal, and he is walking down the street and he sees a sign, and it says, "All you can eat, we will make your grandson pay." All you can eat will make your grandson pay. Now, Popatlal is a very smart person. He sees this sign and he thinks, wait a second, I don't have a grandson. So I'm going to walk in here and I'm going to eat all I can. So he walks in, and Jai Prakash Prabhuji has made an amazing feast. He has made puris and rotis and dal and rice, and we all love Jai Prakash Prabhuji's puris. So does Popatlal, and he eats all of the puris, all of the aloo, all of the rice and the rasgulla, everything he's eaten up. And he's like, I wish I had another stomach because I love this food so much. But he resigns and says, okay, well, I'm done. And he starts to walk out. The waiter comes to him and says, wait, sir, here's your bill. And Popatlal stops and says, wait, you said that my grandson will pay. I am not responsible for this. I don't have a grandson. And he said, well, this is for your grandfather's meal. And so he still has to pay for the meal. And so the moral of the story is nothing in life is free. Nothing in life is free. We pay our phones, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, iMessage, we pay it with our time. And the scary thing is that we can make more money, but we cannot make more time, especially in this human life. And Prahlad Maharaj is a very profound advocate of not wasting time. And I'll share that in a bit. Okay, so here are some, I wanted to mention a few verses from the Gita. I'll just read the translation here. This is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 22. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O Kunti, Such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. So relating this to smartphone use, it has a beginning and it has an end. Even though it's an endless scroll on Instagram, still there is an end. And it does not leave us satisfied. And so it is a source of misery. So an intelligent person, someone in Krishna consciousness, would not delight in them. So this is Sri Krishna speaking about the dangers of the sources of misery, like smartphones. And the very famous verse, I'll read the verse. Chanchalam himana Krishna Pramadi balavadridam Dasyatam nigraham manye Vayor iva sudushkaram. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna. And to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. This is Savyasachi. This is that one person who can send an arrow and it will hit its target, even if he sends it in a different direction. He is the most perfect archer in the world. His focus is so precise. Once his teacher asked him, I want you to hit this bird on a tree with your arrow. Many of you know this story. And he takes his arrow and he points it, and his teacher Dronacharya asks him, what do you see? And he only sees the eye of the bird. That person with that amount of focus is saying, it's so difficult to control my mind. And we'll later see a young boy of only 5 years of age, Srila Prahlad Maharaj, is able to do it so easily by dint of mercy, by his guru, and by making his mind a nice place to stay and a nice place for Krishna to stay. So I want to talk to you guys. What do you wonderful devotees, what do you all appreciate about Prahlad Maharaj? Can you all share maybe 1 or 2 things you appreciate about Prahlad Maharaj? And please share from a way that thinking about Prahlad Maharaj has affected you and your life. Valuing time. Beautiful. And I know you've read Srimad Bhagavatam because there's a very, very important verse, Komarat Acharat Pragyo, where Srila Prahlad Maharaj shares about this. Srimati Mataji? He's compassionate. He's compassionate to everyone, yes. His faith and determination, Jai. Same, faith and determination. He describes Navada Bhakti. Yes, I feel like everyone knows where we're going with this. It's really good to know we're on the same page. Anyone else want to share anything? Devkinandan Prabhu.
He never disrespected his father.
Yes. Yes. He's very compassionate and forgiving, especially to people who he feels has wronged him. Vilas Manjari Mataji? Yes, beautiful. He sees friends and enemies equally, a sign of a highly elevated devotee. Yes, very beautiful. He's the only person who is able to please Nrsimhadev. Why do you think, Prabhu? Yes, nobody else could pacify him. Prabhuji? He knows the importance of human life. And I like that part you said, human life, right? It's not just any life, but just human life. Krishna Namananda Prabhu? He's the best of the best of the best devotees.
right away preach like a friend.
Yeah, like a friend. Yes, I love that.
There are two bag of Mahabharata, whole Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, same family, Balinga.
Yes,
Discussed hundreds of times.
yeah.
People said, anybody wants to go back to Godhead, better leave Prahlad Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, they will.
Jai, and we hopefully we can do it this month. Yes. So I liked what Prabhuji said about Prahlad Maharaj treating everyone as a friend. And yes, Satyabhama Mataji, and then we'll keep. We have more to come. He learned everything in the womb. Yes, from the womb. Yes. What a great learner he is. I wish I could learn everything from my mom's tummy, but unfortunately, I have a lot to learn. No, it didn't. So I wanted to talk about a point that Junginder Prabhu said. I'm sorry, I forget your beautiful initiated name. Huh? Jagadish Simha Prabhu. Jai. I should know that. Jagadish Simha Prabhu shared about the preciousness of human life. He understood the importance of human life. Anytime, and this is from our Mind Your Mind book, but I think it really exemplifies Prahlad Maharaj's mood. Anytime you spend on absolutely anything means you are giving away a part of your life that you will never give back. And I think this is very powerful when we think about it, because when we give our phones the time, the attention that it does not deserve, when we are not present in our life right now, we are giving something else, the most valuable gift Krishna has given us, and that is a part of our human life. This human life is so precious, and it's something that Prahlad Maharaj shares about a lot. So I'd like to read that very famous verse. It's the first verse of the 6th chapter of the 7th canto. So Prahlad Maharaj is right now speaking to his friends, his demon friends, like we were talking, as a friend. And he says this very famous verse that's often quoted in all ISKCON parenting seminars you go to, they'll quote this verse. I know because my mom and dad attend these, but let's read it. Shri Prahlad Uvacha, you can repeat. Kaumara acharit pragyo dharman bhagavan niha durlabham manusham janma tadapi adruvam atradam. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved. And although temporary, like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life, one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. So here, I am personally, I feel like this verse really encapsulates what I find very attractive about Krishna consciousness. And it is that that value that is given to human life, not just any life, but human life. We talk about a lot about the value of life when we talk about not killing animals and non-violence, and there is so much value in these discussions, but the value in human life, those days when you don't feel like things are worthy or life is moving forward, we can rest on this fact that this life is the best gift we could ever have. It is so rarely achieved, this life. There's some crazy statistics about the ability to become human simply on the material level. One in 4 million sperms come to attack one egg, but only one of them will make it. That is the chances on a material level to get a human body. And all of us have worked so hard to this point to get this beautiful human body. Yes, it is a bad bargain in some ways. Yes, this world is fraught with so many miseries, but still this human life is so precious because it allows us to upgrade our mentality spiritually. And so I think Srila Prahlad Maharaj does an amazing job of explaining this very important point. And going on this point of every moment is precious, here are 2 verses he uses again in his discussion with his teammate, with his friends at school. Every human being has a maximum duration of life, 100 years. I mean, it's a bit smaller for us, but 100 years. But let's be optimistic. But for one who cannot control his senses, half of those are completely lost because at night he sleeps nearly 12 hours, being covered by ignorance. Therefore, such a person has a lifetime of only 50 years. In the tender age of childhood, when everyone is bewildered, one passes 10 years. Similarly, in boyhood, engaged in sporting and playing, one passes another 10 years. In this way, 20 years are wasted. Similarly, in old age, when one is invalid, unable to perform even material activities, one passes another 20 years wastefully. So not only is this human life short, but it is lessened by sleep, by eating, by all of bodily necessities, by the loss of mental activity. As we get older, it will happen to everyone. It will happen to me. It will happen to everyone in this room. We will lose our mental abilities. So Prahlad Maharaj is giving this call to action to all of us. Start now. Let's start now. And he's sharing with us that every moment in this material life, in this human body, is precious. And I wanted to give a special shout out to the young people in this audience today, because this is another quote from the book. As an adult, if you find it hard to put your phone away and focus on work, for example, you can imagine how vulnerable a teenager with a phone in his hand is. And I know we're talking in the third person to all of you, but I think you guys are old enough for us to talk about this. The struggles of the generation previously and the generation now are very different. Like Sankarshan Charan Prabhuji shared, we have now, in the previous generation, we had weapons of mass destruction. But now we have not only weapons of mass destruction, but we have weapons of mass distraction. And especially the kids in this particular age, we call them the Gen I or Gen A. No, Gen Z is me, don't worry. Like the iPhone generation, the digital generation, because they have grown up immediately with an iPhone on their hand, with CoComelon and all of the other YouTube and all the other social media apps. They've grown up with it since day one. So the struggles of this generation are a struggle of staying present. And it's a very important struggle for us to conquer. And Prahlad Maharaj is making this point for us to start young in keeping distractions away, staying focused, staying present with Krishna, Prabhupada. And we want to follow in his footsteps. So this is, I'm going to ask if I know a lot of you know the answer, but I'm going to ask those under 20 to raise their hand to answer this question. Which of the 9 forms of devotional service does Prahlad Maharaj exemplify? A, Shravanam, hearing about Krishna. B, Kirtanam, speaking about Krishna, C, Smaranam, thinking about Krishna, or D, Atmanivedanam, fully surrendering to Krishna? Yeah. Okay, so I have a group here. I have a group at the back. Any kids want to give a try? All of the above? That's a good, he does do all of them, but he exemplifies one of them. Okay, so Madhav is saying C as in cat. What do you all think? Haribo, Smaranam, Madhav Parmar ki jai. So yes, perfect. What made you think it was Smaranam? He always thinks about Krishna. He was always thinking about Krishna. Very good guess. So Smaranam is our constant remembrance of Krishna, Krishna's activities, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's names, Krishna's glories. And Prahlad Maharaj did this continuously throughout his life. He was always thinking of Krishna. In this picture, you can see Prahlad Maharaj is being tormented by snakes and weapons because he refused to obey his father's instructions and claim that Krishna was not the supreme personality of Godhead. And he's being tormented in such a way, but you can see he is absolutely oblivious to it. He is in his own world. And the question I want to pose to all of you to think about is your mind a nice place to live in? Is it a nice place for Krishna to live in? Because our minds are where we think of Krishna. The minds are where we go about our daily duties. I would actually say most of us spend all our lives in our heads because we think so much and we're not very present. So if our mind is a nice place to live in, is your mind filled with the snakes of self-doubt and the weapons of mass distraction? If our mind is filled with these horrible elements, how can we possibly attempt to bring Krishna into it? So I think this particular episode in Prahlad Maharaj's life is a wonderful metaphor for our own minds. Are our minds a nice place to live in? Are our minds a nice place for Krishna to live in? So I wanted to share a little bit about Smaranam and how Prahlad Maharaj is constantly thinking about Krishna. So here is a verse, and I found this very, very beautiful. I wanted to share it because I'm always on the lookout for a nice metaphor verse. I love those. So I wanted to share with all of you. So here, after being absolutely tormented by his father, he is sent back. He is sent back to school, and Hiranyakashipu gives him another chance, and his teachers another chance. You need to teach him well. You need to teach him again. And so right now, the teachers have asked him, where did you learn this from? I never taught you this. And Prahlad Maharaj says the following. He says, "O Brahmanas, teachers, as iron attracted by magnetic stone moves automatically toward the magnet, my consciousness, having been changed by his will, by Krishna's will, is attracted to Lord Vishnu, who carries a disc in his hand. Thus, I have no independence." And so here we can see the power of Smaranam in a devotee, how it absolutely changes their being. And of course, it's a very ecstatic mode of loving Krishna. But we can see that this is the goal. All right, Devkinandan Prabhu, we're talking about your point now. So one really important thing I wanted to mention was that Prahlad Maharaj was respectful to people he did not agree with, but he still spoke his truth. And I think that comes a lot from in our own lives. I see that when I spend a lot of time on social media or when I spend a lot of time on my phone, I am detached from reality. And so I do not solve the complex issues that are in my relationships with my mom and dad, or my friends and my family, I'm not able to work on them. So one of the benefits of leaving our phones behind for a little bit every day is that we can work on our relationships. We can work on being more respectful. We can work on having more harmonious relationships. And I think as a young person, I think this is especially important because we grow up having this idea that you should not back down to anyone, right? If someone wrongs you, you need to stand up for yourself, right? You can't, if someone is bullying you, and to some extent we need that self-defense, it's very important, but so at some point you get tired of fighting back all this time, and you start to understand that, at least in my own head, when someone misbehaves me, when someone has wronged me in some way, it is most because it's a projection of their own insecurities, or also it could be that I have my own, there is something I cannot see, and that humility is very important in being able to work in these situations. So Prahlad Maharaj was respectful to his father. His father is right now, just a short story time. His father, Prahlad Maharaj has returned from a year of school, and his mother is very excited. Everyone is very excited, so they dress him up and they get him ready. And Hiranyakashipu is also so excited. My son, he loves him so much. He calls his son, and Prahlad Maharaj, very cute. He goes up, 5-year-old boy. He goes up and he walks up the stairs. He sits on Hiranyakashipu's lap, and Hiranyakashipu looks at his son and says, "So, my dear son, what have you learned at school?" And as the story goes, Prahlad Maharaj tells the truth, but he says it in such a, and I read, and it was such an unagitating way. It was in such a polite way, but he spoke his truth. He spoke his truth. But first he starts off by glorifying his father, by saying, "My dear father," and sharing his love with him. Even though he was disrespected later, he was tormented by his father, he still forgives him at the end. And that it takes so much courage to do that. So we can learn from Prahlad Maharaj the exemplary quality of forgiveness, of humility, and of treating people with respect, even if we don't agree with them. I don't agree with everything Hema Jagannath Prabhu says. But I still love him and I respect him very much. Sometimes I'm not very respectful, but most of the time I'm trying to. And I think this is very important. And Prahlad Maharaj, in that way, is a role model for me. How he has harmonious relationships with everyone. Okay, so going on the story time. So here, Prahlad Maharaj is on the lap of Hiranyakashipu, and he shares the following. He shares, "Because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions, repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed." How many people have heard Prabhupada say that before? Yes. "Their inclination toward Krishna are never aroused either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life, and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects, cannot understand the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As the blind man guided by another blind man misses the right path and falls into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries." So there's two very important analogies that Prahlad Maharaj makes in this. The first is chewing the chewed, right? We engage in materialistic activities over and over again. And I want to share something I heard in Kadamba Kanana Maharaj's lectures recently, before he passed. He was sharing that sometimes, and I'll be very honest, it hit me at a time when I was thinking too much and I was very depressed. And I heard this and it really hit me. So I want to share with you, all of you. I think Lord Krishna is getting bhoga. So he shared that oftentimes we take life very seriously. And oftentimes we get very serious, right? Maharaj looking very serious. And we often forget that we have been doing this life after life. We have been going through the same motions, going to school, getting married, having kids, going through this difficulty, that difficulty, health problems, health crisis, mental problems. We have been going through this life after life after life. But we get so serious because we think this is the only thing I have. So in a similar way, we are chewing the chewed. And I want to extend that to our social media usage and our phone usage. We look for novel ideas and new ideas from our phones. But the truth is, we don't really get those novel new ideas that are good for us. It's similar to a blind person leading another blind person into a ditch. So here we have a meme. Where are we going? Never mind, just follow me. Blind leading the blind. So this is an example of social media usage. And I think I also get stuck in this thought hole of thinking, oh, maybe I'll get a new idea from social media or something like that. And I feel like I just get convoluted with a bunch of noise, a lot of voices speaking to me, when I think the real light is Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna consciousness. So 2 questions for you. So we're nearing to the end of my talk, and I wanted to ask all of you, how does your phone bring you closer to Krishna? And how does it bring you away from Krishna? So we've spent a lot of time talking about how it could bring you away, but maybe there are ways it brings you closer. So I'd like you all to share about these 2 questions. So does anyone have any thoughts on this? Vilas Manjari Mataji? Using it only for the purpose of serving Krishna. Yes. That's so beautiful. When I was younger, I was thinking, with my first paycheck, I'm going to buy Krishna Namananda Prabhu a new phone because he's always calling someone. He's always sending a message. He's always doing some sort of service with his phone. Or you'll see Prem Kishore Prabhu will always have one ear plug in, and he'll be saying, oh, I have this app on my phone, and here is all of Ramapad Swami Maharaj's lectures, and I listen to it all the time. So there are wonderful ways we can use it to serve devotees and to remember Krishna. Anyone else? The phone agrees, yes.
The way it brings closer to Krishna is that the entire Veda is there. All the Shastra.
Yeah.
Along with that, we also have other nonsense.
We have a lot of nonsense up there too. That's a very good point you made. There's an app called My BVL, My Bhakti Vedanta Library. It has all the audiobooks of Prabhupada. And I have it on my phone, but I don't think I use it as often as my social media apps or WhatsApp and Instagram, to be very honest. Thank you for making that point. What do you guys think? What do you all think? Oh, sure, Prabhu.
I think that
I'll push for 1 second.
I happen to think that the technology has a whole lot to offer to Krishna consciousness. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had said that what we do is we can utilize everything in Krishna's service. So it's a technique. Once you know the technique, then you're free to use everything. I think it's a lot of services that can be done with the cell phone.
Hmm.
So we just have to switch from this thing to that side of everything. Easy.
Jai, yes. Thank you for sharing. I think the learning the technique is the hardest part, I think, for me. But yeah, thank you for sharing. What Prabhuji, Devkina Prabhu was going to share? Okay, Prabhuji want to share and then Devkina Prabhu. And then
I
one.
think it is a question of time management. So phone is just a tool, and how you can manage your time,
Hmm.
that may matters.
Jai. Yeah, and it's so hard. Yeah, it's difficult. Devkina Prabhu?
You're asking how does your phone bring you closer to Krishna?
Yes, that's what we're discussing.
One utility I see when I go in the bathroom for shower, especially doing my shave, I turn off because I can't take a computer in the shower, but
Yeah.
at least I can take a phone. So I'm listening to some katha while I'm doing my shave and other thing. So that's 15 minutes of, use that, my phone for that purpose.
Jai. You're cleaning your body externally and also your mind. Prem Kishore Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this is from a pure devotee, but that is which I've learned from His Holiness Rompad Swami. Even Maharajas are prone to this technology, right?
Yeah,
So
they have to.
what I learned is the focus he brings in, like the lot of work he does for his presentations and all. He just has that kind of a clock
A clock.
set in,
Okay.
so that okay, this is a time period which he focuses in,
Hmm.
and he will be ensuring that no disturbance comes in between,
Hmm.
whether it is phone or whatever wherever he is in. So even it is valid even when we chant as well. I see him like early morning when he rises up, he uses the same technology to revive. Basically, every day morning, 4 o'clock, actually he gets up at like 2 o'clock in the morning until 4:30. He chants, then he listens to Prabhupada.
Radha
Every
Shamsundar
day.
ki jai. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki jai. And Gauranitai ki jai.
So every day morning, 4:30 to 6:30, I see we had that Prabhupada recording that device. He has it outside.
Yes.
So wherever he goes from room to room, whole house will be.
That's so beautiful.
So every day he listens that. So how to make use of it at right time is the
Hmm.
key.
Hmm.
And when you chant as well, people do see the tendency to, oh, anyone texted, or what is my seva next?
During
Or-
chanting
yeah,
sometimes, yeah.
So I would really encourage to take those devices in a proper way, whether it
Hmm.
is young or old or whatever age they are in.
Agreed,
Hare
yeah.
Krishna.
Thank you. All right. I just wanted to ask, I specifically want to hear any of the Sunday school kids want to share how technology brings you closer to Krishna? How can it, are there any ways you've thought? Radhika, maybe?
You can listen to Krishna music and like
Yeah.
lectures on your.
You can listen to Krishna
Yeah.
music. You can follow Janavi Harrison. Yeah, there's a lot you could do. Jai, thank you for sharing. Thank you. Okay, one more. Yes, Mataji. Okay.
Haribol.
Haribo.
I think that we can use technology to watch videos on Bhagwan and do summaries on, for example, Bhagavad Gita. We can find films of lectures by Srila Prabhupada. And really, if we have so much potential on the internet, we should use it for Krishna because he's the ultimate purpose of existence.
Jai. Jai. So we have
You want to say something?
You want to say something?
All right. Okay. So we have one Mataji would like to share, and then I think there's a few. I think there's some more things happening. So is there a Mataji you would like to share on that side? Oh, it's a girl. I'm sorry. It's a lovely young Bhakti devotee.
So basically every morning my dad plays the Krishna Kirtan. So while we're just eating breakfast or doing whatever like we connect with Krishna and we just,
Yeah,
connect with him.
beautiful. That's a wonderful way. That's a wonderful way to connect with Krishna. All right. So I see a lot of people have moved out, and I wanted to share one thing I came up with. These are 4 practical ways we can work on a phone addiction. First thing is a weekly fasting day. In the monastery, in the ashrams where the brahmacharis stay, there's 1 day a week where you will eat less, you will stay away from your phone, and you'll engage more with Krishna. You'll introspect more. So even if it can't be a day, if it can be a few hours where you set aside in the Jewish philosophy, it's called a Sabbath day, where you stay away from too much stimulation in order for greater spiritual introspection. So I would suggest maybe come up with 1 day today, a few hours today, maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, one of those days that works for your schedule, for you to keep away your phone. And second thing is something I do, my own thing, is change your password. And I've asked Prem Sarovar Radhika Mataji to change my password on Instagram. So I don't know what my Instagram password is. So if anyone reaches out there, actually, I'm sorry. The third thing is use Chrome extensions that pause before your YouTube or anything. This few seconds of pause will make you think, do I really want to go on YouTube right now? Do I really want to check Instagram right now? These are some really nice extensions. Finally, don't pick your phone up first thing in the morning. Maybe use the Krishna Dun machine or put on Kirtan, but don't pick your phone up the first thing in the morning. There's a lot of science behind it, but I won't go into it now. But I'll stop with a question. What am I getting in return for giving Facebook or WhatsApp or your favorite social media app, Be Real, Instagram, the best gift I have, which is my time, a part of my life? So with that, I'd like to end. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. I'll give it to Krishnamananda Prabhu for the announcements.
Wait, have the announcement?
Yes, they did. The announcement. And now the sponsors are here today.
Hare Krishna. Let's thank Surabhi Sundarachal Mataji with a loud Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. One way we can use the phone is look at the announcements. Okay. So tomorrow is Ekadasi, minimally fasting from grains and beans and increasing our Krishna consciousness.